At the start of this debate, indeed for possibly the first 4 minutes of Jackie Bailey's speech today, I thought we were going to get to some consensus about the devastating effect of inequality and the challenges ahead and come together on how we could do that. I'm a bit sorry that the debate has taken a different direction in that area. The first issue I have to raise is about the Dr Scott research that has been referenced. I have in front of me an email from Spice yesterday. It says the research was carried out for the Labour Party and the full document is not publicly available or published online. The party have yesterday, provided the below table to Spice, which summarises the finding of Dr Scott and which can be shared by Spice with inquiries. I'm actually unclear as to who did the summary, whether this is Dr Scott's analysis or the Labour Party's.
Ian Gray.
To answer that question, the table is from Dr Scott's research. And I can also say, in all sincerity to the member, Spice are wrong. We did not tell them this research was done for us, and I can only assume that they've made a mistake.
Claire Adamson.
I hope the member will appreciate that this is what has led to some of the confusions on these benches as to this report. I can also say that from the table in front of me, I am concerned there doesn't seem to be any weighting for falling school rolls between the 2 years in connection, and also agree with the Cabinet Secretary that when taken out of context of the evidence to the Education Committee of knowing that pupils, the number of subjects being studied by pupils this year was going to fall because that was the intention of Curriculum for Excellence, that there is some confusion in just using the raw data.
Jackie Bailey.
That the overall number of people taking these exams has fallen, and I don't necessarily accept that, but let's put that to one side. How can you explain the percentage drop in attainment? Because that's not about the respective numbers, that's about an overall fall in attainment despite who's sitting the exam.
Claire Adamson.
I think we have to look at this in the context of this was the second year of the fifth year exams, and we don't have all the information in front of us, and we don't have the full detail of the research, which is why it's very difficult for us to comment on it. But I don't think this government or anyone else will take any indication of a fall in attainment as lightly, and I think the Cabinet Secretary has shown that the higher levels are showing a continued increase and that we are doing year on year better than we have in this area. And I think, you know, we have the debate today and I just have to raise those issues. No, I've taken enough interventions, sorry. Jamie Livingston, the head of Oxfam Scotland, in today's press has looked at the research that Oxfam did that shows that UK 5 families have roughly the same wealth as at least well-off 12 million people in Britain put together. And Oxfam state they are non-political, but they also have a clear and unequivocal stand against such glaring inequality and an issue that they believe inextricably leads to poverty. When it comes to tackling poverty and inequality, Oxfam say that includes action to ensure we have a just tax system for which everyone pays their fair share and everyone according to their means. And I think there is a degree of consensus that the tax system needs to change to achieve that. It's just unfortunate we don't have the power to do it within this Parliament at this time. Oxfam also quote latest figures showing that 820,000 people live in poverty in Scotland, and more than half of the working age adults in poverty live in households where at least one person is working. The old adage that work is the clearest route out of poverty is hollow, rings hollow, and is no longer relevant to the situation we find with inner-work poverty today. The Welfare Reform Committee has taken frequent evidence on the fact that of increased food bank use, of the sanction system, the effects that has on families relying on social security, and we have seen that poverty is increasing as a result of the austerity agenda of the Westminster Government. And I think Mary Scanlon was very passionate about the numbers and the figures, but she forgets that in that are the children that are suffering under her government's austerity regime. And when we get the Minister, the Westminster Secretary of State for Work and Pensions stating, as regards further cuts coming our way, we would have to do the work on it, as we have done the work and it is not modelled, and we'll let everybody know what that is. So £12 billion of cuts are coming with no guidance of what the welfare budget needs to be. No reason other than austerity ideology, and no regard for the devastating impact on families who rely on social security, no regard to quality impact assessments, or any sense of fairness or need in the government's agenda. I just want to finish, I'm very tight for time, Presiding Officer, but if I could reference the Science and Engineering Advisory Group, SEAG's report, and the work that they did in STEM subjects in the country. And they highlight that even a relatively small improvement in education standards can have large impacts on the economic, social and cultural well-being of nations, and may offset, perhaps exceed the costs of effective educational reform. I believe that this government, working with partners such as SEAG, are moving towards that. And if I can finally say that I know this is happening because I attended on the 26th and 27th of March, a learning festival in North Lanarkshire opened by Dr Alistair Allen, which was looking at creative learning, an opportunity for all teachers to learn more about what is there to help them in their challenges in tackling the attainment gap.